people some recent comments from Holness is making the rounds. And of course, you know, I have come to the conclusion that Holness is trying to trigger the people of Jamaica into, he might try to trigger people into some energy. What the hell is going on? Why am I two sitting here side by side us? Why? I don't know ya, man. People, no, check this out. Check this out. I need to play this, but what the hell? Revival helping to prepare Jamaica for Zion. The only good thing we not do I help prepare yourself for hell. You see them bag candle, eh? People, a apple J buckle them there, you know? Apple J buckle. But we are going to move on. Because God I got rid them. Miss Curiosity what go on. Yeah man, my tolerance with them I get very, very thin right now. Based off of the history. Anyway, I could hear this brother.
But the Jamaica Labour Party workers are not fanatics. They don't believe in following blindly. The Jamaica Labour Party workers.
Yo, I'm sorry, but me, it's hard to listen to that brother. Yeah. Them say, when a liar not talking is the only time him not telling a lie. I mean, I tell you, say, that is true for Holness. What the man just say a while ago? Everything what him just say a while ago is the opposite, you know? Listen to this again. Wow.
But the Jamaica Labour Party workers are not fanatics.
Hey, who man's is this? Oh, man's is this?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
They don't believe in following blindly.
Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop.
The Jamaica Labour Party workers, you know, they are very direct. They will tell you how it is. I've always experienced this. Driving through a community and obviously a supporter, she will come out of our house and she will cuss me. She say, you see me road? You see me road? We don't have no water. And there I am scratching my hands and why this lady not support me at all.
So, him give an example of somebody will support them party and them not on the road and them not on the water. And Holness, you should be ashamed of yourself. Shayrock promotion, big up. You should, that is the norm. You can't imagine. Labour right, what do you vote for Labour right for? Labour right suffer, Labour right party suffer everybody, you know, all the Labour right them, you know. If you not in the know, I the know. As far as me I get to understand, look at the situation with Dalrymple. a woman where allegedly she, according to Patricia, what's up, babes? According to Dalrymple voice note, the lady, how would that? The lady have, what are they? Me found the lady have her business and house, and Dalrymple give her one of the poor relief house them. What can go so? What can go so? So if you're in the know, you're not going to really benefit. It's rough, but let's continue.
And then after she but that is the nature of the Jamaica Labour Party supporter. We don't really need an opposition because our supporters hold us to account. In fact, our supporters are our staunchest constructive critics. And I've grown to respect and understand that about the party that I lead. So I listen very carefully to what my workers are saying. Because if they are not happy, they are not going to be silent. And therefore, when I come here today to address you, I could very well give you a rant speech where at the end of every 2 or 3 sentences I say, so alright! And you leave here on a high, but by the time you come out and you go back into the community and they ask you, so where did you get it? We saw some very exuberant and loud people gathered at a particular park. And when the microphone was placed in front of them to ask them, so why are you angry? What are you distraught about? Why are you protesting?
Sorry about that. Boy, Andrew. It's one of the most undemocratic statements me ever hear. Come out of. And them are telling us that them a dictator and not realize somehow, you know. So they want to go on. Bless up yourself. Somebody say him drunk. Hey! People, the man said them don't need nobody to hold them accountable, but their own supporters. Wanna tell me the God Almighty truth? Say this a man here, nah drink mad puss piss. Sitting around with him, you know? something is severely wrong with him. Is either his brain are going really sick and he not tell we. Probably have dementia. I don't know what going with him from what there, but some of the utterances where come from him. Oh, your people and we are die-hearted people are going to hold you accountable. Somebody please explain that to me. Or somebody that is biased towards you is going to hold you accountable. Eh? People, members say same government this, you know, where stop, give the KSMC, order the water commission to stop, give the KSMC the water result them, you know. Members say that same government you hide that from we, you know. The result of the water, you know. You understand? If we don't have no scientists now, no family or nobody way, oh, them say they can't bear for seeing face. Hold on, let me take him off ice cream. See? If you don't have any scientists in your family that can actually test the water in your pipe, right? How are you going to know if, you understand what I say? If the water actually clean? Yeah? How you gonna know? That's like the water commission not having any accountability. They can just tell you say water clean when it actually not that clean, you know, when it actually below the standard, you know. And then you see people start the hospital and sick for this and sick for that, and you don't know what happened to them. Because the source of the problem is the water where they might drink. So Andrew Holness don't want to be held accountable. And he has shown you and shown us several instances to prove that to be so. Oh, the man fi say him no need the opposition. No wonder they want to reform the constitution the way they want to reform it. Where them have no impeachment. That is the definition of no accountability. No impeachment is the definition of no accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Dangerous. 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 This man is dangerous. You might tell him the quiet part out loud. I just want to know if you see. Stop ignore the signs. Imagine a criminal, and I'm not saying that the Prime Minister is a criminal. I'm saying, imagine a gunman or a criminal being a lawmaker. And that gunman or a criminal wants to take out the punishment of being somebody that take other people's lives. It is going to give them free rein to continue to take other people's lives without any punishment. That is the exact thing that the Prime Minister proposed with Marlin Malawi when them say to take out impeachment. That is the exact thing he did, right? When he sued the Integrity Commission. As a matter of fact, let me go for that. Let me go for that clip. Let me go for that clip. Let me find that clip and share that clip with you. Yeah, man. Dean Jackson Miller. Dean Jackson Miller. Let me find that clip. Dean Jackson Miller, Andrew, affidavit. Andrew Holness lawsuit against the IC. Yes. Alright. So she has two videos. Part 1 and part 2. Wow. Part 3? Are so much of them? Backside. Part 4. Damn. Alright. Let me just cue these up. Part 1. Part 2. Part 3. The part 3 there. Oh, it's part 3, yeah. Part 3. And part 4. Alright. Dean Jackson will kind of talk fast now, but me have to speed it up a little bit. Because more for real. Let us look back, ladies and gentlemen, of what I'm talking about. This is interesting. You guys can see the screen, right? Yes, I can see. Alright, perfect.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is taking the Integrity Commission to court. Stay tuned. I'll have your breakdown in just a moment. I'm Deon Jackson Milo. Thanks for being here. First of all, be clear about what is happening here. The Prime Minister is asking the court for leave, for permission, to then apply for what is called judicial review. So what is judicial review? Judicial review is the power that the superior courts have, the Supreme Court, to review the decisions that are taken by bodies like the Integrity Commission to make sure that they are acting within their legal powers. So judicial review really is about making sure that a decision was made in the right way, that the process was lawful, the process was fair and just. It's not really about whether the decision itself was correct. It's about the process in arriving at that decision. All right, so let's look at what the Prime Minister is asking for. So I'm going to be going through the court papers with you, telling you what is in the Prime Minister's affidavit, that's his sworn evidence. Also, what are the many declarations and orders that the Prime Minister is going to be asking the court to make. I just have to make a point right at the beginning though and highlight something for you that is pretty surprising. The Prime Minister wants the court to make a declaration striking down the provisions of the Integrity Commission Act. He also wants the court to strike down Section 14(5) of the Corruption Prevention Act. Now, this is a section of the Act that deals with illicit enrichment, which of course you probably know is what the Prime Minister has been investigated for by the Integrity Commission Act. I'll tell you more about that when I get to that part of the document. I wanted to highlight this because it's pretty surprising to see a Prime Minister, head of government, a legislator, in fact, asking the court to strike down provisions of the Integrity Commission Act, which is
embarrassing. He needs some milk.
People, come on, man. Liberate them. We don't have to come home. Come home to righteousness and live in darkness, brother. It is surprising that a lawmaker is trying to remove the part of the law that deals with illicit enrichment. The man don't want to have no law we can lock them up for illicit enrichment. What does that say to you about the Prime Minister of Jamaica? We don't need to go to court. We don't take no good afternoon, Donna. What are you doing? We don't need to go to court. You don't take rocket scientists to show no what going on right so. Just use the brain and look on the facts. These are the facts. Let me play that back. Let me play that back. I don't think I'm joking with it on this morning.
Probably know is what the Prime Minister has been investigated for by the Integrity Commission Act. I'll tell you more about that when I get to that part of the document. I wanted to highlight this because it's pretty surprising to see a Prime Minister, head of government, a legislator, in fact, asking the court to strike down provisions of the Integrity Commission Act, which is the act that's put in place to help to fight corruption in the public sector, and also asking the court to strike out Section 14(5) of the Corruption Prevention Act, which again, the illicit enrichment provision was enacted to try to stem corruption in the public sector. When we get to it, you'll hear the details of why the Prime Minister wants the court to make those particular decisions, but let's start now at the beginning. Okay, so let me start out by saying who exactly is before the court. And before the court is Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister. Also before the court are 3 companies associated with the Prime Minister, and which you heard about if you watched any of the videos that I did on the investigation report from the Integrity Commission. The applicants in this matter are not just the Prime Minister, but Mr. Holness, along with Imperium, which is a company that's wholly owned by him, also Positive Media Solutions and Positive Jamaica Foundation Limited. Now, the orders are being sought against 2 directors of the Integrity Commission, which is Craig Beresford, the Director of Information and Complaints, along with Kevin Stevenson, the Director of Investigation, along with the Integrity Commission as a whole. So the Prime Minister speaks about the applicants. He speaks about himself as a leader of the JLP, Prime Minister of Jamaica. The second applicant, Imperium, he says he is the sole director and shareholder of Imperium, which is a holding company that holds property and assets. He speaks about the third applicant, Positive Media Solutions Limited, which is a company of which the shareholders in Positive Media were Mark Azan and Imperium. Positive Media, he says, is a company he uses to manage his intellectual property and image rights. It also rents media equipment. The fourth applicant, Positive Jamaica Foundation, he says this is a company limited by guarantee without share capital. He says Positive Jamaica is not actively engaged in business, but he uses it to make grants or donations or to assist people who from time to time ask him for help. He says the company is not a registered charity, although he loosely says that he uses it for charity purposes. So he says the allegation that he misappropriated funds from a registered charity is false and irresponsible. He says
Mr. Shady, it's not a charity, but he uses it for charity. It's not registered though. Does that make it morally correct what he did? Or does that lessen the optics of the situation? The man is shameless. Patrick, I said the man shameless. Shameless, my general. Terrible man. And people stand behind this man with all of this knowledge that come out against him, and his own action towards the Integrity Commission report is a big red flag. Nobody that is innocent, nobody that is of integrity is going to sue the Integrity Commission. And for all of these things that he's trying to achieve in the lawsuit, which was a failure, but the fact that he tried, ladies and gentlemen, it should tell you everything you need to know about Andrew Holness and his government, because all of them stood by him when he did this. All of them. There's none amongst them I trust to lead this country anywhere. Nowhere at all.
a quick check at the is not registered as a charity. He says he denies the allegation of misappropriation. And throughout the investigation, he says the allegation of misappropriation of bond proceeds was not put to him by the Director of Investigation. He says, therefore, he was not given an opportunity to respond to this allegation, which would have clarified that issue. He says this matter concerns the report from the Integrity Commission of 30th of August 2024 and the special report dated the 5th of September 2024. He says the reports are being challenged, and we'll hear more about that later. He says having read the reports, he now knows for the first time that what was referred to the Director of Investigation for investigation are as follows. His net worth, calculated based on information included on the statutory declaration for the year ended 2021, and additional information that he provided in terms of his net worth, that it grew over a 5-year period ending the end of 2021. 2, unexplained changes in net worth. And 3, although his net worth appeared to align with income for some years, the growth of the net assets of companies for which he and close family members are majority shareholders, and the actual contributions of minority shareholders. So the Prime Minister is saying that it's when he read the report that he knew for the first time that this was what was being investigated. He says he was not asked any questions about the matter in the first and second bullet points. I'll just read it as it is here, although as I said, I think there is an error there, as a notice of interview and attachments will show. He said the statement that his refusal to provide the Director of Investigation with a breakdown of expenses for the period covered by the investigation, and that hindered him in the investigation, he said that statement was false for the following reasons. A, he was not asked to provide any income and expense statements for 2019 and 2020. B, he says he was not referred for financial investigation pursuant to the Integrity Commission Act. C, he said only the 2021 declaration was referred to the Director of Investigation for investigation. D, he says the report shows he had already arrived at a negative net worth for 2021 and 2022 for him, Mr. Holness, which would not necessitate an inquiry into his income and expenses. He says it was only after what he calls the improper combination of his assets with the company Imperium's assets that the director arrived at the sum of 1.9 million, which he said was unexplained. He said he's been reliably informed by his attorneys and he believes that this sum would not trigger an explanation, meaning would not require him, Mr. Holness, to make an explanation under Section 14.5 of the Corruption Prevention Act. So he is saying here that his lawyers have told him that this sum would not require him to explain how he came by this under the illicit enrichment section. He's also saying that his attorneys have told him and that he believes that the Director of Investigation collected evidence, analyzed it, made findings of fact while combining the roles of investigator, prosecutor, and judge. He says, moreover, the section under which the Director of Investigation was proceeding places a burden on him, Mr. Holness, to prove an essential element of the offense of illicit enrichment, that is a wealth element, meaning under this particular section of the Act, if a public officer is asked how they came by a particular asset, they have to prove that they did so lawfully. Mr. Holness says in his affidavit that the problem is compounded by the fact that the respondents, meaning the directors and the Integrity Commission, already had the sum he was required to explain, but did not disclose it to him so he could adequately respond or cause representations to be made on his behalf to resolve the matter. He says he's also been reliably informed by his attorneys and he believes that the contents of the report, that's the investigation report that was sent to Parliament, he said this report disclosed personal and private information of the applicants, as him and the three companies, in breach of privacy and the data protection laws of Jamaica. He said what was disclosed was more than what was necessary to make the report to Parliament. He said he was asked questions in a vacuum. He said he was only provided with the documents listed in the appendix later on. He said the Integrity Commission Act provides for confidentiality of the proceedings as well as the excision of prejudicial material if there is a finding of corruption or an offense under the Act. So he's saying the Act does make provision for some matters not to be released to the public. He says the objections I put forward were dismissed without a hearing, and he says this was improper given the substantial nature of the objections that in some cases went to the respondent's jurisdiction, meaning that some of his objections were saying that the Integrity Commission and the directors didn't have any basis, any lawful basis for the kind of investigations they were trying to do. He said in addition, he has a right to privacy. He said the Director of Investigation and the Integrity Commission deliberately ignored his objections through his lawyers and published a report imputing criminal and unethical conduct to him and to the three companies. He says the report raises a number of issues concerning natural justice / procedural fairness, breach of his constitutional rights, and illegal and ultra-vires conduct of the Commission and its Directors of Investigation, the Director of Investigation and Director of Information and Complaints. Ultra-vires conduct means that the person or the entity is acting outside of what the law allows them to do. And he says because of these issues that he's raising, the reports that were sent to Parliament are tainted and ought to be struck down. Okay, then he gives details of some of what he is saying happened. He's saying the Director of Investigation and the Integrity Commission acted ultra-vires outside their lawful authority, illegally and unfairly in carrying out their statutory duty, meaning their duty under the law. The Integrity Commission Act, that's a statute, so your duty under the statute is your statutory duty. And he said they acted ultra-vires, illegally and unfairly, having regard to the referral set out on page 4, paragraph 11 of the report. He said the directors and the commission knew that the commission did not make the referral. He said they knew that the 3 companies were not notified of the referral, or in any case that the information they had didn't rise to the level that required explanation by him, Mr. Holness, as it was acknowledged that his net worth appeared to align with his income, so any investigation on the basis of illicit enrichment did not arise. And just to say, the referral they're talking about, when the Integrity Commission wants the Director of Investigation to look further into something, they make a referral to him for
what kind of banger I go on that chat? Simone, we are dealing with. Not even answer that all
investigation, all right? Or the Director of Complaints and Information can also make a referral. He goes on to say that the directors and the commission knew that the alleged unexplained sum for the year ending December 2021 was only 4.4 million, but this was never disclosed, he said, to him for an explanation as required for an investigation for illicit enrichment to start. He said also there's no statement that this was a disproportionate sum. He said the directors and the commission knew that the ultimate objective of the investigation was to trawl through the 3 companies' private information, but they didn't notify them and made adverse findings without hearing from them. He says the directors and the commission only asked questions about the companies and business associates, but asked nothing about the substance of an investigation for illicit enrichment. He says it's therefore improper to suggest that he, Mr. Holness, was a reason that prevented them from completing their investigation, as they had the alleged figure that needed explanation from the outset. They never disclosed it to him, and he said they now want to continue their illegal quest by pretending that he withheld information and improperly communicating it in a manner that they knew would attract public odium and cause prejudice to him. So he's saying that the directors and the commission didn't tell him essentially exactly what was being investigated, and they have now put it out into the public in a way that is turning the public against him. That's what that's saying. Mr. Holness says as a parliamentarian, he knows he's required to file an annual declaration each year, and he says he has complied with this. He has done this, he said, and filed his declaration for 2021. He did that on the 29th of March, 2022. He says over the period 1997 to 2020, he submitted his statutory declarations as required, and they have been certified and are published. He said he submitted his statutory declaration for the 2021 year within the time required. He said he was called in and he met with the Director of Investigation as the declaration had been referred to him for investigation. He was asked to submit an amended statutory declaration. He said after that, the investigation was closed on the 19th of February 2023, but he says nothing was published exonerating him, and he was not asked to exercise his right to refuse publication of exoneration. He said he only knew about that right because of his lawyers advising him. He said on or about the 26th of April 2024, he got a letter from the Director of Information and Complaints. In that letter, he was told that the Integrity Commission had examined his 2021 declaration as well as the other information provided and said the matter would be escalated. He said he was surprised by the letter because he had responded to all the inquiries and he hadn't been asked to clarify anything following his answers. He said after that he got a letter from the Director of Investigation who said his declaration had been referred to him by the Director of Information and Complaints on behalf of the Integrity Commission. He said on getting that letter, he became even more concerned, so he hired lawyers, Henlin, Gibson, and Henlin, to represent him. He said an inquiry was made as to the basis of the referral for investigation, and he was told by the Director of Investigation that new matters had arisen. He said to date, he had not been advised what those new matters are, and he said he had asked through his attorneys, and he had also observed that he was being asked for the most part the same questions he was asked before the first investigation. He said he was advised by his attorneys, and he believes that if the Director of Information and Complaints believes that the statutory declaration is to be sent for investigation, it must be provided for further and necessary action, and that is supposed to include a consideration and a decision. He believes he's entitled to be heard on the matters of concern or that would trigger an investigation. He says his concern in this case is that this matter was referred to investigation without reference to the Commission for further and necessary action, including consideration and a decision. And because of that, he wrote to the chairman of the Commission to express his concern, to ask what the new matters were. He said the chairman responded but didn't give a direct response to the objections and concerns raised. He only indicated that the Director of Information and Complaints had fully complied with the law. He said there was no statement on whether the Integrity Commission had complied with the Integrity Commission Act, which was one of the primary concerns that he had raised. He said he specifically asked his lawyers to direct that inquiry to the Integrity Commission. He said his attorneys responded saying the Commission had not responded to those substantive concerns. He said to date, they have not received a response from the Integrity Commission on these issues, even though they requested a proper and considered response. He says he later got a letter from the Director of Investigation suggesting dates for a meeting to conduct an interview. Between the 4th of August 2023 and the 16th of August 2023, his lawyers and the Director of Investigation were trying to fix a date for the meeting. He said on the 17th.
Alright, we already know for that. People, after all of that, Andrew Holness do. Wanna remember this? Let's go back a little bit, ladies and gentlemen.
By now, we would have over 26.
Let's go back a little bit.
Is that an issue that occupies the front of my mind? I couldn't leave this stage without saying to you,
tell us about
that
it.
corruption
Yes.
is that an issue that occupies the front of my mind.
Yes.
I couldn't leave here today and say to you
Splash it, you fill up, big up.
that we still need to tighten up on the new anti-corruption system
Yes.
and framework that is in place.
Yes.
In a sense, if you were to compare Jamaica to all the other countries in the Caribbean, our framework for anti-corruption would be the most advanced.
Really?
It is not for want of putting in the legislative and institutional processes. They are
there.
But you have to bear in mind that we are also very new on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues.
Yes.
So there is a learning curve that we're going through.
Yes.
What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve. And
what you say what about Andrew?
New on the scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues.
Right.
So there is a learning curve that we are going through.
Yes.
What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere.
Yes.
And that message goes to the opposition as well.
Look on Desmond Mackenzie are clapping at background. Mighty God of Daniel.
Ball out! Whoa! We need help, Jesus!
Me backside.
Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs.
People, more want to look on the people and we are clap on the stage.
Leave the anti-corruption and
Terry Long Tongue.
Policing agencies to...
Who that over there, so? Faval. Desmond Mackenzie. Me notice say Roberts nah clap none at all. Come like him not like that the part there at all. Or where's the not clap? Very interesting.
Do their jobs.
So Andrew Holness, what happened? What, this was 2020? What happened, Andrew? 2019, sorry. What happened, Andrew? Yeah, I have to take that screenshot there. Because I tell you, say, him never even did believe where my sir writer say. I have to take that screenshot. Him never believe where my sir writer say. Yo, the man said the opposition of interfere with the Integrity Commission. They must build them up because they are them young stages. Andrew, what happened, Andrew? What really go on? What really take place? Oh, you move from that to this.
of August 20. To make a declaration striking down the provisions of the Integrity Commission Act.
Yes.
He also wants the court to strike down Section 14(5) of the Corruption Prevention Act.
Yes.
This is a section of the act that deals with illicit enrichment.
So Andrew, oh, you reach, yes sir. Oh, you reach there, some general. Oh, you move from where you just say a while ago. Oh, tell us, come on.
Or interfere.
Yes.
And that message curve and provide the resources.
Yes.
So that they can move very quickly.
So every Wilmington wants to audit the Integrity Commission. We don't want no longer provide the resources. We don't want to give them less resources. We don't want to destabilize the Integrity Commission. What happened from 2019 till now, Andrew? What happened?
On the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well.
Okay.
Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do
their job. Andrew, take your own advice and your own warning. Why are you suing the Integrity Commission, sir? Leave the anti-corruption agencies to do their job. And you say, son of me, I have put the icing on the cake on a question. The Integrity Commission. Listen to what Mr. Panton have to say. Listen to what Mr. Panton have to say.
So I trust that folks will realize that the reports that we send from the Integrity Commission, they are reports of facts. There are factual statements in the reports. Of course, there are recommendations attached to the reports which the law allows. The law says that the Director of Investigation may make recommendations. The recommendations that are made, the Parliament need not follow them.
What going on, so? How really take place? Something, alright? Okay. Fix things in a Jesus' name. Hold on, them is a Panton. Let me zoom in them, general. Yeah, because I must say, yeah, general.
So I trust that folks will realize that the reports that we send from the Integrity Commission, they are reports of facts. There are factual statements in the reports.
Yes.
Of course, there are recommendations attached to the reports which the law allows. The law says that the Director of Investigation may make recommendations. The recommendations that are made, the Parliament need not follow them.
Facts about money being lodged to the Prime Minister's account and nobody know who was lodging these monies. Facts about monies moving from a charitable organization and used to buy stocks and bonds.
Like up the life, people, like up the life.
Nil tax returns were filed. Facts about over $400 million going through accounts. And I played the clip with Howard Mitchell earlier. Howard Mitchell said one of the first red flag in financial investigation or financial crimes is multiple accounts. Now, if you feel comfortable,
people, they have been trying to downplay the 28 accounts while they're pushing a propaganda that Mark Golding has 32. You see the deflection? Say for instance, Mark Golding has 32 accounts. What the Labour Right wants you to do is say, because Mark Golding have 32 accounts, leave Andrew alone because it's right that him have the 28 account. Brother, if Mark Golding involved in anything wrong, we are burn him out same way. That is the difference between us and those labor rights. We now make no excuse to no corruption, brother. Once it's proven and we have evidence, we have burn you out. Because we want our country better. And corruption don't make our country better. Corruption stifles the potential of people that actually have it. Because corruption siphons off links make you get through in a corruption. Links. Not that you're qualified, you know. Links. So when somebody that is not qualified is in the office of the FID as a director, like Dennis Chum, that is stifling the potential of somebody that actually have 12-year experience in law enforcement, that actually can investigate and find these criminals that are thieving our tax dollars. And those thieving of the tax dollars is suffering millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people from earning a better life, and also suffering future children because it affects the present right now, families that cannot able to grow. How can you support this wicked government? Only wicked and them will support them. I tell you that. No
Having
joke.
a prime minister that is under investigation for illicit actions. Illicit action. I'm going to look up the word if you don't know what the word means.
We got Mr. Panton anywhere in there.
And I asked the question the other day. If you have your business and you are employing and you go into an area and you get a resume and during your background check everybody tell you that this person is under investigation for theft, for illicit actions, would you still employ that person? Knowing the person is under investigation. Yes, the person is not charged, but the person is under investigation. Would you employ that person, or would you want to wait until there's a final decision by the police? Tell me. Now, again about the lady who refused to shake Andrew Holness hand. Let me tell you something. That lady employs Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness worked for that lady. No, she bowed. She gave him a bow. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Touch not the Lord anointed. So I see a lot of people out there cussing the lady too. But guess what? That lady have a right to decide whose hand she shake or who hand she no shake. Is the prime minister would be rude if she put out her hand for shake him and him no shake him hand? She's the employer of the prime minister. Let me listen back a little more to
make them know, me general. Make them know.
Samuel's on the line here.
Make them know, my boss.
What is happening here?
Make them know. So people, we just still want to show you how Andrew Holness went from supporting the Integrity Commission, warning the government, the opposition, and make sure telling them to support them as well, understanding that them just started and you know they can make errors and it not go as smooth because them not have the experience, and then he moved from that to you guys are incompetent, you don't know what you are doing, and Everald Warmington start to question the amount of funding them have. He start to question whether them work for the PNP or not. Why? Because Andrew Holness got caught allegedly with his hand in the cookie jar. Cannot explain how he making money. All of these billions of dollars. Multiple of billions. The man come from humble beginnings. Nobody don't bad mind Andrew. But you are responsible for trillions of our tax dollars. And you never have no money before you come in politics. So where you get the money from? Mark Golding is coming into politics with his money. We all know where him get fee money from. Family inheritance. He is a businessman as well. And him growing businesses. He was a businessman before him come into politics. Yeah, I don't know what with the governor general, you know. But you see, I got me left everything to, you know, because you see me take up all of these things from my head, me have a headache. Right? There's so much things happening in this country simultaneously. When you see the death order that is surrounding the country, unaliving our youth, unaliving our children. The people them that is supposed to be in bars for a long time. The sex offenders. They are getting small amount of time to come out and do more sex offending and sex crimes. But yet still a man found with a gun and get life imprisonment. Listen me no man. Mark Golding, I tell you sir, you have a lot of work to do. And trust me, we're here to help you my boss. Because we have to clean up Jamaica. Have to clean up Jamaica. We have to set the policies them in place so people them can grow. The economy can grow, agriculture can grow, the creative industry can grow. The man them we have them ganja, more people owning houses, more people owning them vehicle, them businesses, more accolades, more people having a degree. You understand? Education. You understand? We need real prosperity. Not the facade that is being given to us by this government. Meanwhile, they don't want to have any opposition because they are a dictator-style government. I want to thank the people that have been supporting all of my platforms and subscribing to all of them. Thank you so much. We are almost at 1,000 subs on Bolo TBV. So I think I need 100 and look a bit. Let me go over there and show you, but like and share this video, ladies and gentlemen.